Greetings, sisters and brothers. Today is May 6th, 2023. It is the transition day of my mom, Eleanor. I used to say Eleanor, which means the light. Eleanor de Shields, transition day. And it actually was 1 year ago today that I moved my stuff out to the land. So, where do I come from? This is probably the oldest picture I have of myself. About 1959, I was almost going on two. Peace. So I was about two, three, going on three. But it all started with mom. Well, mom and dad. That's my mom with the black power fist. That's where I get the black power idea. My nephew and brother-in-law. But starting out with my grandmom and my sister, her friends was close. My brother-in-law and the another friend. That was my foundation. Women was my foundation. My mom, my grandmother, and my sister. My sister, she pretty much, I won't say she was so much raising me, but she, every now Christmas and birthday, she would give us like really cool clothes, like alpacas before people even knew what an alpaca sweater was. Now we look at my mom and dad, you can see that I was literally born from the yin and yang, or the yin and yang, as y'all might say. You understand? My mom and dad look like yin and yang right there. You understand? So it's like I was destined to get into the Tao. And I look at this picture. This is the only picture I have of my mom and dad together. And I think they was at the Savoy. Then I look at this couple. They all happy. Then I'm like, who is this guy? He's like, why am I here? And these guys got girls. But anyway, at one time there was 5 generations of us. My grandmother, my mother, my sister, her son, my nephew, and his son. And a murderer savagely murdered him and his younger brother when they was 8 and 6 years old. But that's the story that leads to me wanting to open up a superhero school. So I'll get into that. So again, I was raised by women. So I even talk about my daughter, which I raised for 9 years. Besides, besides my grandma, ma, and sis, my daughter was the first child that I actually took care of myself. So it was kind of a raising into manhood. But this is about my mom. Mom was chill. Mom was cool, man. I guess that's where I get my cool from. Cause dad was cool, but he'll go off in a minute. Now, mom ain't taking no shorts neither. Now, she would if she seen something wrong, she'd step up. But for the most part, mom liked to chill, most of the time. So she had 4 children. My sister is the oldest child, and then my brother, who's deceased now, he came next. And then my other brother, my next brother, right above me, and that's my sister right next to him. She's the youngest of us all, and that's me and mom. And there go my daughter, Naquisha, and sister. So mom took care of family. She was about family. Everybody loved mom. She was loved on the block. Let me turn off this talking. Oh, come on. Come on. So anyway, and then after us, after we was born, I was the last one. I'm actually the youngest of the boys. And then we started having children. So it's my nephew. And then my mom was very accepting. So even when I brought home a young lady half my age, she was like, all right, well, whatever, you my son. And she just took her in just like she always did, took people in. And then we had a child named Ra. I named him Ra. Born right across the street from the Audubon Ballroom where Malcolm X was assassinated. So from Ma, the family started to grow and grow. So when I was young, it was just a few of us. On my father's side, we had some cousins, but my mother, she didn't have any brothers and sisters, so it was just us. But then we grew up and started having children. Now, killings everywhere. So I just wanted to make this quick video about my mom, cause that was my superhero. You understand? I was raised by a woman, and I didn't come out to be no homosexual. So all that garbage they talking about now, I don't know what they talking about. Mom raised us. You understand? And just one side note, I have to get into that. Mom is one of the reasons that I got into the information that I got into, because she had books about the Tao. She had all kinds of books. She never made me read anything. She had the Bible, but she never made me read it. I read it on my own. All the red letters, that's what I read. That's how the Jesus talking red, right? So I learned how to read. And there was one other brother I have to mention about reading that got me into reading, because they call mom, the school would call mom to school, because not because I was bad, but because I was, I guess, too good. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't read or nothing. So the brother called Jeffrey, he gave me my first Marvel comics, and that got me really into reading. But mom had the books like this, books on knowledge, and I just naturally started reading them. And now, this little bit of books is, I've lost more books than I have now, but I just wanted to put them under mom to kind of, give that, um, show that it was my mom that got me into reading. I wanted to show one thing right quick, and I'm gonna come back to that a little later. I'm gonna do another video on my entertainment side. But this is mom at one of my shows, and like I said, I'm gonna do a video on that. I just wanted to make that part of this. But this is me back in the show business days, and I'll get into all that. But that's it. That's my mom. Black Power. It was no joke. She took us to see Malcolm X. She took us to see Martin Luther King. We used to go to the rallies when we was young of all these people when they was alive. So I appreciate growing up with my mom. And I'm not really sad. This is not a sad occasion, her transition day, because she lived to be in her 90s, and she lost the two things that she loved the most: being able to read. Her eyes went bad, cataracts, and being able to walk. She loved to walk. She used to walk us from the Bronx to Harlem and all that. We used to walk everywhere. And I appreciate that, because that was like the best exercise ever. But today I just wanted to say, I don't know if I should say happy, but transition day. If everything is true, what they say, I'll be up there and I'll see you someday. But for now, peace, Mom. Love you.